Welcome to the Prep Zone and welcome to Jack Salter Stadium as we're here for this matchup between Dutchtown and the Covington Lions. Both teams come into this matchup at 1-1, and last year Covington beat Dutchtown 40-34, so Dutchtown is looking for some redemption. Now let's bring in Coach Jimmy Inman for a little more analysis on these two teams. Coach, what do we know about the traveling Dutchtown Griffins?
Well, they're replacing some starters as well. However, they do have Mr. Jordan Jackson. He's back. He's going to be playing in the defensive backfield. He's a McNeese guy. So we know they have some returning talent. The big question is where does it go from there? They had a big win last week in overtime against Central of Baton Rouge. That's a quality opponent. So Dutchtown's looking to build on their success.
And the home team, the Covington Lions, went 10-0 last year, but it's a new year.
It is. 11 starters were missing from the squad from last year, so there is a sense of rebuilding, going on with the Covington Lions. They do have a very good player in Edgerrin Cooper.
Yes.
Edge is top shelf. He's fantastic. Big question is what's going to happen on the offensive side of the ball concerning the quarterback position. Basically, you have Bayham, who was coming in as a starting quarterback, being replaced by Sharp. Quality player as well, but let's see where this goes. Covington's looking to, kickstart their season. This would be a big win tonight.
Sosa to put this in play for the Dutchtown Griffins back deep. Cooper and Washington for the Lions. He boots this one away. It will be returned by Washington, who takes it at the 5-yard line. Washington looking to bust through, still on his feet as he goes near sideline. Still on his feet up the middle, looking to go toward the middle. And he is brought down by a host of Griffins, led by number 21, Braden Caskey, a senior DB for the Griffins.
Well, I tell you what, the Lions can't complain right there about starting field position. Nice return, good setup. Got hung out right there in the wash with everybody and was able to fall forward, find a few more yards, but 40-yard line, that's quality spot to start right there, I can promise you.
And we'll get our first look in the prep zone at this new Covington offense, brand new Covington offense, led by quarterback. Well, let's see who they put back there for this one. They have Edge Cooper and the Wild Lion.
Well, I tell you what, he is an athlete. He's a smart player, a good leader. So let's see what happens.
Cooper hands off to Driver, who is stuffed right at the line. And whistles blown, but they're not. There we go. And Jeremiah Driver, one of the only players on this offense who got significant reps last year with Devin Brumfield, he would line up more as like a fullback position.
The fact that he was able to get significant reps when you got Devin Brumfield in the backfield, what does that tell you about him? He's a quality back. This is something he's been looking forward to when he's a featured back, and he's a quality player.
And they're keeping Cooper in. And Cooper hands off to Driver again, and he'll be driven back after a gain of maybe a yard, so that'll bring up 3rd and 7 for the Lions.
Well, that sets up a big play right here. We're going to see Edgerrin Cooper stay in, maybe look to pass the ball, or are we potentially going to see another quarterback?
And switching up, 3rd and 7, 10:33 on the clock as a play's coming in from the sideline. You saw the wide receivers to the top of your screen come running over as if they thought they were maybe going to change the package, but they stayed in. 2 to the top of your screen. And Cooper is going to call for it again. Play action, lofts it up deep, and it's picked off by the Griffins. Didn't get all of that when it picked off, and going back the other way, has a big seam to run, and he will take it to the house. That is, guess who we talked? Oh, well,
fumbled.
He was almost caught down. Did he fumble? Let's see what they. No, he's down at the 1. Wow, good hustle by the Lions, but that is who we talked about in pregame, Jordan Jackson.
That's the one guy that you did not want to see come down with the ball if you're the Covington Lions. Again, quality DB. He's going to McNeese. And he kind of illustrated his skill set right there. Not only can he, pluck the ball out of the air, and that wasn't a difficult one to get, to be fair. Kind of was almost like he was fielding a punt. But, boy, once he got it, man, And when that's your offense on the field tonight, your return, your kickoff team or your punt team, that's a real problem when he pulls it down.
Dre Monroe in at quarterback for the Griffins. He'll sneak this one forward. He looks almost stuffed at the line. Did he get in? No, they say he's stuffed short of the goal line.
I tell you.
Back to that play real quick. Great hustle from opposite side of the field by the Lions to be able to run down Jackson before he could get into the end zone.
Yeah, that looked like Chandler Washington that made that run, and it was a long run. So if they can hold out here, that would be a huge win for the Lions.
And Monroe gets it into the end zone for the score. So the Griffins score first in this matchup.
The Lions defense was not able to step up right there. Tough spot to be in. When you set your opponent up on the 1 yard line, odds are they're going to find pay dirt.
And Sosa on to attempt the extra point out of the hold from Trey Martin. The snapper is Ross Clement. Clement, a senior for the Griffins. His position is listed as deep snapper. And that's why, good snap. Kick is up, and it is through. So with 9:32 remaining here in the first, the Griffins lead 7-0. Sosa to kick this one away after the Griffins touchdown. Boots it deep. It will be returned once again by Washington. Washington looking for a hole, and he'll be wrestled down after just crossing the 20-yard line by number 44, Lamar Riley, a junior defensive lineman.
Yeah, I tell you, Dutchtown did a good job right there, staying in their lanes. Covington, on initial kickoff, did a very good job of, providing some key blocks and allowing Washington to find some space. It just wasn't happening there because Dutchtown really did a good job.
So now we get our second look at this Covington offense. Now in at quarterback is Blake Sharp, who we had listed as starting going into this week. That special package with Cooper led off the game.
Well, and we may see Cooper again. He's a quality athlete, so that's something for sure that could happen.
That was a give to Driver there. He had a hole that opened up pretty quickly, and he hit it. But as soon as it opened up, he had Griffin swarming to him to push him back. So a gain of about 2 for Driver.
Yeah, good hard running, but when your good hard running only gets you a couple of yards, that tells you that the defense for Dutchtown is really stepping up right there.
That makes it 2nd and 8 for the Lions, as Sharp awaits the play from the sideline.
Yeah, Covington is going to have to put the ball in the hands of Sharp and let him toss it on occasion.
And this is a design draw for Sharp, and he'll be brought down after a gain of 2. Brought down by number 81, Devon Tier.
He got a good little spot right there. It's going to be 3rd and 5, which is manageable. The question is what does the playbook offer? Again, we're dealing with 2 young men who a week ago, were getting reps with the second team.
Right.
This week they're getting reps with the first team. They're going to be quality. The question is there going to be some growing pains in the process?
Right. And especially when you're coming in, you're replacing a guy who replaced the leading passer in Covington history.
Yes. That was, Josh Alfaro. What an amazing quarterback he was.
Now at Houston Baptist, and we have a timeout on the field with 8 remaining here in the first. The Griffins lead 7-0. So 3rd and 4 coming out of the timeout. Blake Sharp in the gun. Snap is back, gun to throw, looking out, incomplete, intended for Reggie Gauze near the near sideline, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Lions as the punt unit comes on.
Yeah, I tell you, that was just, look, Reggie Gauze, he's got some reach. He can get to most balls. That's one of those, just a little out of his range.
It's 4th down for the Lions.
So the Lion punt unit on here. Snap coming from Wyatt Rainey, sophomore long snapper. It's low, but fielded, kicked away, and it looked he was under pressure. It hit off the right side of his foot, and it'll go out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, that ended up getting a little bit of a decent bounce considering quite frankly, when I saw that, the Dutchtown defender, he was camped out right in front of the punter, and he stopped. Or else he blocks that, I think, pretty easily. So, Covington kind of dodged a situation right there that could have been pretty bad.
Now we'll see this drive from the Dutchtown Griffins offense, led by Dre Monroe, the senior quarterback. So 1st and 10. Monroe calling for it. Screen pass out is complete to Matthews, and Matthews is bottled up and dropped for a loss of 1.
There's a flag on the play. They may be calling a late hit.
Yeah, the Dutchtown sideline clapping over that call.
I tell you what, that's one of those. It's not the incorrect call, I would imagine, but that's a really, really soft call compared to traditional football as we've known it. But in this day and age, when you're talking about player safety, that's been a point of emphasis.
So that'll be a easy first down for the Griffins.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Covington High, if they're going to, hang in the game and get situated and find their way offensively, the defense is going to have to step up. And a play like that doesn't help matters. And again, certainly not malicious, but not what you want to have in that situation.
And Monroe on 1st and 10. In the backfield with him is Lewis. Calls for it, handoff goes to Lewis, and Lewis churning forward as a swarm of Lions there rush over to him to bring him down after the gain of about 3.
Yeah, good hard running right there. But again, what does that tell you about the Covington defense?
Well, they play with their hair on fire.
Yeah, they really did a pretty good job right there.
So 2nd and 8 for the Griffins. They're going trips to the left. 1 to the top of your screen. It's Monroe and Bladen Lewis in the backfield. Monroe calls for it. Give to Lewis again. He hits that hole hard, and he'll be brought down by Avery Menheim.
Yeah, Menheim's a quality player, but I tell you what, when you got a back coming at you with a ton of speed, and he's got momentum, you're going for a little bit of a ride. And the good news if you're the Covington Lions is it is a 3rd down. The bad news is it's 3rd and short.
Yeah, and Lewis is running very hard at the line in churning it. He's getting more than
good hard running. Good hard running.
So trips left once again, 3rd and inches. Monroe calling for it. Give goes to Lewis again. He does look like he has that first down. He gained about 3 yards on the carry.
I think the initial contact, they had him stop, but again, that good hard running that we mentioned, he keeps churning and falls forward and picks up the first down for Dutchtown.
And we'll have a heat and humidity break with 5:54 remaining here in the first. Dutchtown leads 7-0. After the heat and humidity break, Monroe in the gun calling for it. Toss goes outside to the running back, and he'll be dropped in the backfield for the loss. That's that Covington defense playing with their hair on fire. Trent Rainey with the tackle, and on the carry was Jacoby Williams, a senior running back.
Excellent pursuit by the Lions right there. Very good in terms of containment at the point of attack. Made sure that the back had nowhere to go, and then you just flow to the ball at that point.
So 2nd and 14 from Monroe, alone in the backfield as they've gone 5 wide, and surveying the defense, what the defense is giving them. And see the free safety, Chandler Washington, switching over. Monroe will take it on his own, and he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage at the 30-yard line before being brought down by Edgerrin Cooper.
Yeah, excellent job by the Covington defensive coaching staff recognizing that was a design draw all the way.
Edgerrin Cooper, the leading tackler for the Lions, had 24 coming into this one tonight. They're going 3 to the right. Cooper, now Lewis again in the backfield. On 3rd and 10. Calling for it is Monroe, rolling out right, launches it, and a diving effort as the ball falls incomplete pass intended for Derek Youngblood, the sophomore wide receiver.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Youngblood, he was at full stretch right there. That's one of those that, you know, if you're the quarterback for Dutchtown and you're putting it out there, you can't ask for a better effort than what your wide receiver gave you right there.
And they're going to go for it here on 4th and 10. As Monroe looks to the sideline. And I wonder, yeah, they're going to run a play here rather than doing the quick kick. Motion across. Oh,
ball's on
it
the
hit
ground.
Ball's still loose, diving for it.
It's going to be a turnover.
It's a turnover on downs, but as the motion came across from Trey Martin, he was coming across the formation. Monroe called for the snap, and the ball hit him in the leg and fell flat.
You know, it's funny, right before the play there on 3rd down, when Monroe slapped his hands, you basically could see this like mist, if you will, from, you know, either the water break or, my gosh, it's hot enough. It certainly could be sweat. So the question is, was the ball that wet? Because the center, when he's got to deal with it, it's still a wet field from last week's deluge. It might be an issue with the ball itself being kind of slick. And it's just dumb luck. It's going to hit the one guy coming across, you know, obviously not what was intended by Dutchtown.
So 1st and 10 for the Lions. And they have Cooper back in at quarterback. The give goes to Driver, and he's driven back.
Yeah, I tell you what, the playbook is incredibly limited, and Dutchtown is a very well-coached staff. They know that. They've looked at the game film, and they've got their guys basically keying in on Driver, who, as we mentioned, quality back. So, you know, the common sense approach is to give it to the guy who has the experience and has the ability. But it does put the Lions in a difficult situation.
And Jiron Blake's on the stop for the Griffins as it's 2nd and 13. Cooper calls for it. He'll throw a screen pass out. It's complete to Gauze, and Gauze will be brought down at about the 40-yard line, about a 5-yard gain on the pass.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice pitch and catch right there. Give Cooper a little bit of confidence. Gauze did an excellent job pulling the ball in, making a guy miss, finding a few extra yards right there.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 7 for the Lions as they look to complete a drive and get into the end zone as they trail 7-0 with 3 on the clock here in the first.
3rd and 7.
Signal coming in from the sideline as Cooper. 2 to the bottom of your screen. Cooper calls for it. Play action, looking downfield. Now he'll keep it himself, running up the middle, and he'll be dropped by a host of Griffins after a gain of 3, draw on the play.
Yeah, that looked like it had a little hiccup to it. I don't know if that was a design draw or not, or just he didn't see anything and his inclination was to take off. However, what it did do is it put him in a manageable 4th down if they choose to go for it near midfield. And if not, it's punt time.
Yeah, on comes the punt unit here.
Driver.
As Driver drops back to punt.
Jordan Jackson is deep.
Snap is back. It gets there to Driver. He boots this one away, and he'll get a good roll on it. And here's Jackson returning it, looking upfield. Gets away from one, makes one miss, and he'll be brought down from behind by Bobby Showers.
I tell you what, it's a good thing Bobby Showers didn't give up on the play and was trailing right there. That's a big play. It doesn't seem like it, but, you know, if he doesn't make that play.
He has a seam.
He does, and we've seen what, you know, Jordan Jackson can do. He's quality.
So last time the Griffins were on the field, they had to punt it away. Let's see what they can do here on this drive. Monroe and Lewis. Snap is back, and Lewis is stuffed in the backfield, brought down for a 3-yard loss by number 40, Trent Rainey.
And I tell you what, the Covington staff, they've done their homework. They're keying in on Dutchtown, looking at the running back, basically saying, hey, you know, your quarterback's going to have to throw the rock as well. Just very similar squads.
And there you're going to have encroachment called on the Lions. It's the hard count. Got a defensive lineman.
Against the Lions. That'll be a 5-yard penalty.
So that'll move them. That'll make it 2nd and 9. 2nd and a long 9 for the Griffins. They're very quickly back to the line.
Yeah, they're looking to take advantage of a situation if it presents itself. Other than that, it's a check with me. Coach has put the signal in, and now Monroe's looking.
Monroe calls for it, looking to pass. Right side, complete. And the receiver will be wrestled out of bounds by Bobby Showers, but complete out there to Derek Youngblood.
It's going to be another 3rd and short. Obviously, these are situations that the offense has the advantage in. It's put the Covington line defense in a tough spot. Dutchtown's got the best of these situations so far. Let's see what happens here.
So 3rd and 1, Monroe.
Good discipline.
After getting a good look at the Lion defense, let's see what adjustments he makes at the line. He's signaling in a new play to the offensive line. Monroe calling for it. He'll keep it himself, and he'll
gonna get it.
He'll
He's on the
fumble.
ground.
He lost it, and it is recovered by Avery Mendheim.
Excellent job by the Lions right there. I was about to say, good discipline by the defensive front by Covington, because a hard count right there, then that's a cheap first down. So it just goes to show you it's a well-coached group, stayed firm, stayed in their spots, didn't fall for the hard count. Next thing you know, fumble on the play, turnover, and Covington may have some momentum going their way.
And Avery Mendheim, one of those explosive players that I talked about in pregame with Coach Salter, that is a returning starter on the defensive side. Almost a complete rebuild offensively, but they returned some very good players on the defensive side. Avery Mendheim, one of those.
Yes, and he is the quarterback of the defense. Let me tell you, just a cerebral player. Not only a good athlete, has range, but very intelligent.
Under a minute to go here in the first. Cooper back in at quarterback, and he'll give to Driver, looking to stretch it outside, and Driver will gain about 4 on the run. He'll be brought down by number 94, Jiron Blakes.
Yeah, good run by Driver right there, bounced off a tackle. Lost his shoe. He's got a little bit of a flat tire he's trying to get situated, but good hard running.
And Driver comes out. Cade Rogers, a sophomore running back, 5'9", 175 pounds in.
And Covington has 2 sophomores for sure that receive a lot of playing time. Cade Rogers being one of them. Now the other one was Alex Sharp, and unfortunately he's got an injury that's going to keep him out the remainder of the year. Quality player though.
And Covington has to take a timeout with 14 seconds remaining here in the first, as Dutchtown leads 7-0. After the timeout, Sharp in at quarterback as they go Maryland I. You have Driver and Cooper as the tailback. Give goes to Cooper, looking to hit the hole hard. He's still churning as they have to wrestle him back to bring him down. He never stopped moving his legs until he was dropped back by Brett Latchelet.
Good hard running at that point.
And that play will end the first quarter as Dutchtown leads 7-0.
Making a tackle. Third.
Covington to start the second quarter, lining up still in that Maryland I formation. Sharp under center. Take this one. Give to Cooper again, looking to spin away. Nothing doing. He's dropped by Shane Levy.
And that is a loss on the play. The question now becomes, is it enough of a loss to put the Lions punt unit on the field, or are they going to keep the offense out?
It looks like a new unit coming back on as Cade Rogers heads on out. The bigs coming out of the game.
Just inside the 32.
We're looking at about a 4th and 6, so you're not going to have the big fellas in.
Chandler Washington.
15 seconds on the game on the
play clock.
Play clock.
Yeah. So Cooper in at quarterback. Cooper calls for it. Play action to driver. Dump pass. Complete. Still on his feet. He's brought down. It was complete out there to Justin Lee and brought down by a host of Griffins who swarmed to the ball. But a first down, a big first down for the Lions.
Big first down. Justin Lee's one of those guys. He's a character guy. He will definitely stay in there and make sure that he receives the pass and finishes it off and takes the big hit in the process. So, guy with a lot of guts.
Lee, a senior, listed at 6'5", 180. So 1st and 10 for the Lions. Cooper calling for it again. The give goes to driver, looking outside, and wow, Jackson with the speed, able to run him down.
He is a quality DB. Again, he's a next level guy, and he's on display. What else is there to say?
Yeah, and that brings up 2nd and 12 for the Lions as Jackson plays the defensive backfield, and he quickly, you saw him like a speeding bullet, going forward, catching driver in the backfield before he could cut the ball up.
And again, Dutchtown is a well-coached squad, quality staff. They know what kind of asset they have in him, and they know that, Mr. Driver, he's a quality back, and that's who they're keying on.
Low snap, Cooper handles it. Hitting the backfield was Cooper, getting away from 3 tackles before eventually being met and dropped by number 91, Shane Levy.
And I tell you what, Cooper did a great job of just trying to get out of trouble after the little low snap right there. And that's not the guy you want to find when you're looking for space.
Not at all. Shane Levy, a big man.
Yes, he is. He filled the hole and then some.
So that brings up 3rd and 13 for the Lions. 9:26 on the clock here in the first half. And Cooper still in at quarterback. Driver and pistol behind him. Calling for it. Cooper. Play action to driver. Pass behind Justin Lee. Intended out there, but falls incomplete and will bring up 4th and 14 for the Lions.
And that's a tough one right there because that's basically timing, and the timing's not there. I mean, just simply because of the injury to Bayham, that would probably work most nights. And you do have, if you're the Covington staff, it's something you've got to do because right now Dutchtown's got their guys lining up, keying on driver, so you've got to throw the ball to keep them honest. But that's one of those, it's just a tough pass, a timing pass like that, and hey, Cooper's quality, but that's a lot to pick up in a few days.
And Cooper, offensive unit, staying on the field here on 4th down, calls for it, running as pressure comes immediately, looks to cut it up, and he'll be brought down from behind by Levy once again, and that will be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, I tell you what, nothing wrong with that decision. Given the field position, I'm
going to say this. How about the athleticism there of Shane Levy, a big guy, coming across to run down Cooper from behind. He plays at left side of the defensive line and was able to turn and run, get away from the offensive lineman.
Again, this Dutchtown squad, they're well coached. Some of that's intrinsic. Obviously, he's got a motor, and he was giving it 110%. But I can promise you if he's not, the Dutchtown staff is going to let him know about it. He lived up to his billing right there for sure.
1st and 10 at the 12. Calling for it is Monroe, dropping back as pressure's coming. Drops it off, a screen pass to Lewis. Breaks 1 tackle, looking to get away from another. And he'll be brought down by a host of Lions as he gets the first down. So that moves the chains for the Griffins.
That it does, and it was an excellent play to try to alleviate some of the pressure. Covington's defensive line has really been a good job of creating some pressure. So that is one way to mitigate that pressure. Throw a little screen. Good call by Dutchtown.
And it's always one of those situations when you can see pressure coming that quickly. You get a little suspicious as a defensive lineman thinking, hey, it's probably a screen and you want to turn and run.
Right.
Monroe calling for it. Pass is out and incomplete. Intended left side for number 5, Terry Matthews.
That was a tough one for Matthews to handle, especially with Menheim on him. By the way, on the screen, the person that kind of was the issue for Dutchtown was Menheim. He shot through and actually created a little issue and slowed the play up and allowed the rest of the Covington defense to flow to the ball.
So that brings up 2nd and 10 for the Griffins. Monroe calling for it, rolling to his left, looking to square up, launches it across the middle, and that one to the ground. Not enough on it as he was contorted. Not enough on it intended for Jaden McKinney.
And I tell you, Covington's defensive coaching staff did a good job right there. They were playing pass pretty much the whole way, which is why he had a ton of time, Monroe did, but not a whole lot of places to put the ball.
So 3rd and 10 for the Griffins. 3 to the right as they await the play from the sideline. Snap. Now rolling to his right, looking to launch it, and that one hit the ground again, incomplete, as he's not getting the loft on it to get it to his receivers. It's hitting the ground right before it gets to him.
And again, it sounds really crazy, and we mentioned this last week as well. The ball, a little wet, a little sweaty, a little heavier. I know that sounds insane, but it is. And that throws your passing game off just a tad. So a ball that he may normally be able to get there and have a little zip on it, instead it's landing right in front, shoelace high.
Yeah, that one was intended for Youngblood as the punt unit is on. Low snap fielded by the punter, kicked away. Good punt as this will get a good roll for the Griffins. And it'll be downed right inside the 20-yard line.
And Covington's offense will set up shop, and the big question is what are we going to see going forward? Are we going to see Edrin Cooper in the backfield? Are we going to see Sharp in the backfield? I know that Coach Salter, look, we know he's got the pedigree. We know he's been able to, manage situations. All you got to do is look at what he did last year.
Absolutely.
My word, that's record-breaking offensive production. So the question is how quickly can he adjust to this bad luck that they've had in terms of injuries?
Well, and as we were saying before, Cooper will be in at quarterback now. Blake Sharp still on the sideline. He was over there near the huddle as they were talking, but keeping Cooper in, as well as the sophomore, Cade Rogers.
Yeah.
Calling for it is Cooper, the give to Driver, and he's met by Brett Latchelet and driven back, but never gave up and stayed up.
Yeah, I tell you what, every time Driver gets the ball, he's getting hit pretty quickly. Dutchtown's doing a very good job of penetration, and they're keying on him. Let's be honest. They're well coached, so that's exactly what they should be doing at this point, and it shows.
2nd and 10 for the Lions. And Cooper calling for it. High snap, but he's able to handle it. Looking to pass now. Pressure coming. He's hit as he throws. Going deep and nearly picked off once again by Jordan Jackson.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jackson was there and almost pulled down another pick. But I tell you what, Justin Lee was open. The ball was a little bit underthrown. That's not a surprise considering Edrin Cooper doesn't play quarterback for the most part. Still, it was actually a pretty good throw. But Justin Lee, good job of actually, running himself route-wise open.
So that brings up 3rd and 10 for the Lions. And they're sticking with Driver in the pistol. Cooper calling for it. Give goes to Driver. Left side looking to cut it up. Nothing doing. Met at the line and driven back. Probably a loss of 2 on the play.
Yeah, Dutchtown, just like I said, very well coached. They're keying. They had Braden Caskey, the DB right there. He's a senior. He sealed that edge. Nowhere for Driver to go. Driver had to go back inside, and once he went back inside, that's where the help was.
And the punt unit for the Lions comes on, and we're going to have a late flag, potentially. Let's see.
Sideline warning.
A sideline warning on the Griffins. Yeah, that's called on the Griffins. So we'll see driver and the punt unit for the Lions. And they have 2 back deep. They have Jackson along with Matthews deep to receive the punt. Rainey snap is high. Driver takes it, and he punts it away. Low line drive hits the referee, and it's picked up by Jackson. Looking to get through, still driving, and he'll get down to about the 27-yard line. Gutsy there by Jackson, but when he saw it, he had a head full of steam running forward, and he figured he would get it and try and get a few more yards.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Covington High School. The first thing is I still don't understand why Dutchtown's players are checking up. I know they have a lot of respect for drivers' ability to actually pull the ball down and run, but in that situation, they should actually be making sure they're getting after the ball if the opportunity presents itself. And to hit the referee, just dumb luck.
Right.
It just does happen.
So Dre Monroe calling for it, rolling to his left, looking downfield. He'll tuck and run, and he'll be brought down by the shoelaces by Edgerrin Cooper playing both ways.
Yeah, and that just goes to show Cooper's quality. We've mentioned him. He's top shelf as well.
So that brings up 2nd and 10 for the Griffins. Rainey on the tackle, also on the tackle with Cooper.
1-score game right here. This is a big stand for Covington's defense if they can do so.
And the officials will call the heat and humidity break with 5:59 remaining here in the first half. Dutchtown leads 7-0. A quick heat and humidity break as the teams are right back on the field here on 2nd and 10. Dre Monroe looking to call for it as he's reading the defense. To his right, it's Bladen Lewis. Base spread formation, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Monroe calling for it, given to Lewis, who has a hole, has a seam going through, and he'll be brought down by number 11, Jawan Harrell. Harrell, another one who got a lot of playing time for the Lions last year.
Yes, he did. The Lions defense has returned quite a few starters, and they are a quality unit. The question is, these heat and humidity breaks, they're getting those for a reason. Starting to wonder if they've been on the field quite a while, if they're starting to wear down a tad.
1st and 10 for the Griffins. Monroe calling for it, given to Lewis again, and great job by the offensive line opening up a hole for him. And not only that, when you open up a hole for Lewis like that, he's going to hit it hard every single time.
Yes, he's got some wheels. He's quick. He keeps his legs going. He's driving. He's tough to bring down, so you cannot allow him, if you're the Covington Lions, to get ahead of steam, because that's going to be a problem.
So that brings up 2nd and a long 3 for the Griffins here. 4:50 to go in the first half. Monroe motion across, calls for the snap. Handoff goes to Lewis again, and he's dropped in the backfield by a host of Lions, including Corey Donovan, who the big 6'4", 240-pound defensive lineman for the Lions, also got a lot of playing time last year.
Yes, he did, and I tell you what, he made sure that play was going no further.
Corey Donovan works out at the gym that I work out at in the off season. He puts in a lot of work. He got the character athlete of the week a couple of different weeks throughout the off season. Monroe calling for it again. Keeps it this time. Cuts upfield. Makes 1 miss, 2 miss. Dives into the end zone. And that is a touchdown for the Griffins.
And that is a big play. And honestly, that set up from the previous 4 plays. Basically, hand the ball off. Everything's up the middle. Right there, quarterback keeper goes around the edge. 1 man to beat, and he's quality. He actually he looked at that and said, I got this. 6 points.
And that'll bring on Hayden Sosa to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Trey Martin. Snap from Clement. Low snap, fire called, rolling right. Looking to pass it to the end zone. Has a man open. Will he catch it? No. Incomplete. The 2-point conversion fails as a diving Jaden McKinney couldn't haul it in as the ball hit the ground. So with 3:58 remaining here in the first half, Dutchtown leads 13-0. So Sosa to kick this one away after the Griffins touchdown. Washington will return this one. Looking to get to the middle, has a seam, and let's see, he'll be brought down after crossing the 30-yard line. Way to make something out of nothing as he hit a pile. It looked like it very quickly could have ended. He was able to bounce it back out and get a couple extra yards.
He made a beautiful cut on the right hash over there, bounced it outside, and he wasn't able to keep his balance. But while he was falling forward, he had to pick up at least 6 or 7 more yards. I mean, just, tightrope walking, if you will, just tiptoeing around, but on the way down, 6 or 7 more yards. Washington is impressed on his returns.
And now Blake Sharp on at quarterback. He'll keep Driver in the pistol. On 1st and 10, call for it. Give goes to Driver again, breaks through, and he'll gain about 7 on the carry.
Yeah, you got to give Driver some credit. He hasn't gotten frustrated, even though he is being keyed on. He just keeps plugging along, keeps working. The offensive line was able to find a hole right there. He was able to squirt through, and Covington has really struggled getting to 3rd down with a lot of 3rd and longs this evening. So a 2nd and 4, very manageable down a distance here.
Calls for it is Sharp, and he'll give to Driver again. Driver drop down. That looks very close to a first down. Yeah, it looks like he crossed that from my viewpoint. Yeah, there it is, first down for the Lions.
And I tell you what, again, good, hard running. Driver just did not quit, kept his legs churning, and it first down time.
So they have 3:06 on the clock as Covington looks to put it in the end zone this half. Calling for it is Sharp, this time rolling to his right, looking downfield. And he'll loft this one deep and picked off by Jackson once again. Still on his feet, breaks one tackle. Looking through again, and he'll be brought down by the Lions. That was the tackle there by 55, Saban. But there he was just playing center field again.
Yeah.
He was lofted up. He had to go. He just adjusted and grabbed it.
Yeah, that again, an easy interception for him. A player of his quality, when something's just kind of lofted up and he can just easily settle up under it, he's not going to drop him. He's just he's next level. He's the next level guy. So there's a flag on the play. Yeah, and it might be personal. I thought it could be something personal foul-wise.
Personal foul on the Griffins.
Yeah.
So that big return that Jackson got is negated and brought back even farther.
Yeah, I tell you what, I could see some of the Lions pulling one of the players back who obviously was the egregious party, and he was wanting to kind of return the circumstances. Good job by his teammates saying, nope, the circumstances are not good, don't make them worse.
So, well, it looks like Jackson is in at quarterback in the Wild Griffin.
I tell you what.
He's the only one back there. And Jackson will take it himself, and he ran right into Corey Donovan. That's like hitting a wall.
That is not a good idea by Jordan Jackson, as great as he is in the defensive secondary. I'm sure that's not something he wanted to see.
And when you have that kind of speed, that just means you hit that wall quicker.
Yeah, it just means you have less time to get away from the big man that is not going to let you go. So.
But they're keeping Jackson in on second down, motion across. Jackson calling for it. He'll keep it himself, going right side, gets through the hole, cuts it back inside, and a play-saving tackle there. Avery Menheim getting him by the ankle.
Yeah, Avery Menheim again. He's the guy who's the safety valve, if you will, and he's been there, and he's actually been quite important a few times. Well, I tell you what, when Jackson's in, all it takes is one little seam, and he can eat up the rest of the yards pretty quickly on the way to the end zone. So,
Dre Monroe back in at quarterback for the Griffins, looking left side. Complete on the screen pass, and that'll be a gain of about 6. before the Lions bring him down. That pass complete to Terry Matthews.
Yeah, good pitch and catch right there by Dutchtown. Monroe really nice job in terms of timing, putting the ball right where the receiver could get it and not break stride.
2nd and 4, 1:20 to go here in the first half. Calling for it, Monroe rolling right, launches this one and throws it. It's complete to a Covington coach down there.
Some good hands on the sideline.
So, but that's a 3rd down with 1:13 to go here in the second quarter.
And I tell you, Covington's defense is probably happy that it's not a 3rd and 1 or a 3rd and a half of a yard. This is it's tough enough to stop Dutchtown as is. You can't give them really short 3rd down situations.
So 3rd and 4, 1:13 to go.
It's a big play here.
Monroe calls for it, and designed run for Monroe. Looking to get back outside, dodges 2 would-be tacklers. He'll be brought down. 2 flags come out
There's
immediately.
a block in the back that was very easy to see. It was on the end and in the edge of the line at that. And I tell you what, a great job by Monroe to just play Houdini right there and get away from tackle after tackle after tackle, because Covington had guys for sure in a position to make the tackle.
Corey Donovan, and eventually it was the one who got him down.
Yeah, Donovan is just a quality player. And, I mean, he's definitely somebody they're going to lean on going forward as well.
That penalty will be assessed against
So that'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Griffins, 3rd and 13.
Yes, and this is one where before they looked to fake the handoff forward and let Monroe run to his right where there's more space.
Motion. Under a minute to play here in the first half. The give goes to Lewis.
He's going to be a personal foul. It looked potentially a face mask.
Yeah, it looked like a face mask turned the head there. That will be on Corey Donovan, but as he got a handful of it, it turned the head of Bladen Lewis.
And if that's the case, it's
so
going to be an automatic
down.
first down, and man, that's not what you want to see.
Lewis, the ball carrier.
And that'll move him to almost midfield with 40 seconds to play. Do you think they maybe 2 more short attempts and then take a shot?
You know, honestly, if I'm Dutchtown, I'm putting Jordan Jackson back in, and I'm putting him in space somehow, some way. Whether he's in the wild grip or if he's a little screen or something to him, but he's just such a good ball player.
Calling for it is Monroe. Play action on the slant there, complete to Jaden McKinney.
It's the second time that Monroe's done a very good job on a little timing route on a slant on the end.
Making that reception.
So a first down at the 35-yard line. 34 seconds to go here in the first half. Monroe calling for it again. This time the give to Lewis has a hole, but it closed up as quickly as it opened. A gain of 5, and Dutchtown will take a timeout. So with 23 seconds remaining here in the first half, Dutchtown leads 13-0. So second down with 23 seconds remaining. Dre Monroe calling for it from the gun, looking left side, has a man open. That's caught, and he'll go out of bounds. That's complete out there to Jaden McKinney, and that's another first down for the Griffins. But a good job there by McKinney to get out of bounds to stop the clock with 18 seconds left. They're looking to score here right before halftime.
And Dutchtown truly does have 3 bites at this because they have 18 seconds left and 2 timeouts. So the clock is actually working in their favor here, as weird as that sounds, with 18 seconds left. 2 timeouts in this field position. A lot of options available to them.
Monroe motion, McKinney calling for it. Looking downfield, pass is complete to Youngblood, but he stayed in bounds. So Dutchtown is going to take a timeout with 11 seconds remaining here.
On the receiving end.
Excuse me, that was Martin
Timeout.
receiving it. But 11 seconds remaining here in the first half. Dutchtown leads 13-0. So second down, 11 seconds to go. That last pass was complete to Trey Martin. Apologies for the error. And Monroe will keep it, and he'll knee it down at the 20 and let the clock run out. So he'll go to half.
Looking for a field goal here.
Stopping the.
Edrin Cooper.
Oh, they're going to go for the field goal
making
Yeah.
the tackle.
with 2 seconds left.
Yeah, it was just
Here
a
before
setup.
half.
That was
And
just a setup where he wanted
Well
it
done,
on the
yeah.
hash.
He went right to the middle of the field there and took the knee. So with the timeout, 2 seconds remaining here in the first half,
Sosa.
and Dutchtown leads 13-0. Field goal attempt when we come back.
Martin.
So a 37-yard
Sosa.
field goal attempt from Sosa here. Snap is back, kick is up, and it is through at the buzzer. It's good. So Dutchtown will go to half leading 16-0.
Dutchtown, 16.
And the war of Covington High, the Marching Lion Band. Introducing the drum majors of the Marching Lions, Joy Conlin, Oscar Jimenez, and Raymond Bowe. The Covington High School Marching Lions are going to perform All I Do Is Win by DJ Khaled. Tonight, we welcome to the Covington High School field the members of our 5 junior high school feeder schools. Lee Road, directed by Heidi Perry. Fifth Ward and William Pitcher, directed by Micah Dutruch. Folsom, directed by Jenny Nucio. And Madisonville, directed by Dominic Messina. We will now feature the Covington High School Dancing Darlings and Golden Silks. The Dancing Darlings officers are Captain Lexi Abear, Co-Captain Katie Hopp, Lieutenant Hallie Kapp. The Golden Silks officers are Captain Terrion Whitehead, Co-Captain Brianna Wimmer, and Lieutenants Gabrielle Kruby and Abigail Blackman. And now, sit back and enjoy the Marching Lions and the Future Lions as they perform Word Up. The dancing coach of the Dancing Darlings is Holly Blackman, assisted by Courtney Newton. The Golden Silks are led by Captain Joanne Lofton, Claire Oviedo, and band director of Covington.
Giovanni Hernandez to put this in play to kick off the second half. That one bounces and will be returned short by the Griffins, and that return by LaMarcus Jones will give the Griffins good starting field position at about the 40-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to be quite happy with that starting field position. I tell you what, this is a big defensive series for the Lions. Right now, 16-0. It is two scores. Two scores, two two-point conversions, but two scores, you're still in the game realistically. One big play, two-point conversion, and then it's ball game. You're back in it. Give up a long drive here, and it really makes life difficult.
Well, you talk about defense. This guy, Jackson, in it, the Wild Griffin at quarterback, he's been stout on defense for the Griffins tonight, and there he'll run left side, and he'll be swarmed and bottled up by a host of Lions.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I'm a defender right there, my expectation is that he's keeping the ball. I tell you what, though, they did look to the running back first. And he kept it, tucked it, and they were on him with some quickness.
Rainey and Donovan on the stop there. That brings up 2nd and 13 for the Griffins, staying with this Wild Griffin formation. Snap goes, keeps it himself, fake the jet sweep, and Jackson will gain about 6 yards on the carry, and that'll make it 3rd and 5.
Yeah, I tell you what, he may have gotten a little bit more than
about 8 yards on the
carry. He's so fast that 8 yards looks like 5.
He's so fast that it makes my math thrown off.
I mean,
that doesn't take much to do anyway.
No, I tell you what, he's the guy that can make it difficult for you. That's for sure.
So Monroe now back in at quarterback. 3 to the top of your screen on 3rd and 5. Monroe calling for it. Quick pass out, intended for Martin, falls incomplete as it hit the ground. That's been kind of a common theme. Wide receivers having a dive for balls and usually falling incomplete, hitting the ground.
Yeah, and that one was low, but quite frankly, I think Martin would want that one back. Monroe has actually done a better job. He hit a couple of nice little timing routes on the the inside a little bit earlier, so that one was low. You're absolutely right. But I can guarantee you, if you ask Martin, he'll say, "Hit me again, I can dig that one up."
And Tier now to punt this one away for the Lions. Snap bounces back to him. He's able to pick it up and kick it away. And Washington in the area, no, Peter call on, so Washington gets away from it as it rolls out of bounds near about the 19-yard line. So now we'll get another look at the Lions, who have been held off of the scoreboard all game so far. What do they need to do to get a drive going? Because it's seemingly just give to drive, or Edgerrin Cooper keeps it,
Yeah.
They've taken a couple shots, and on those, they were picked off by Jackson.
But one of the problems when you, unexpectedly lose your starting quarterback, and like you said, you're coming off of relying on Alfaro for not 1, not 2, but 3 years,
right,
or a little better part of 3 years. It just takes time. So it's one of those things where there's no substitute for experience.
And Blake Sharp, 2 backs in the backfield with him. The handoff goes to the sophomore. He makes 1 miss, makes 2 miss, and it takes a 3rd to bring him down. But the sophomore, Cade Rogers, gets the first down for the Lions.
I tell you what, good running right there. And not 1, but 2 nice little moves in the hole to actually evade a couple of defenders. Really nice run. Really nice run by the sophomore.
Rogers, a 5'9", 175-pound sophomore.
Great, not only a great athlete, but a great guy. Good head on his shoulders, very intelligent young man. He's a program builder.
And Cooper now in at quarterback will keep it himself up the middle, has a huge hole, and he'll gain 6 yards on the carry before being brought down by Brett Lechelay.
And I think you're going to see a good bit more of that. You're going to see, Edgerrin Cooper read the defensive end and see if they actually go with Driver, if Driver's actually going outside, and if he doesn't, let Driver do what he does well, which is a good, hard running and get to the edge. If not, keep, pull, find some yards.
2nd and 5 for the Lions. Snap is back. Cooper goes to the sophomore again, and he'll get the first down before being brought down by a host of Griffins. That was number 15, Jordan Spears. But another good hard run from the sophomore, Cade Rogers.
And it looks like Cade is actually down right now.
So we'll step away for the injury timeout. So Rogers was able to walk off under his own power. That brings up 1st and 10 for the Lions. The give goes to Cooper. Tried to bounce it to the right. He's brought down after a short gain. Good tackle there by Jordan Spears, the junior defensive back.
Yeah, Dutchtown did a good job of diagnosing that. The only reason there was a gain at all is because, Edgerrin Cooper put forward the effort and made sure he fell forward. As silly as it seems, when you're his size and you fall forward, that's 2 yards. So,
right.
You do that, at this moment, you get 5 yards in the next play, you're looking at 3rd and short instead of 3rd and 5 or 6.
And on 2nd and 8, Cooper back in at quarterback. Look to his left, you have Cade Rogers back in. Snap goes, the give goes to Driver, looking to go upfield. Jackson misses the tackle, went too high. And Driver, look, when you try to tackle him high, he's constantly churning his legs, so he's just going to keep on going, and that's exactly what a couple Griffins did there. Eventually wrestled down about a half a yard shy of the first down.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it was a well-designed play. Covington probably got lucky right there. Cade Rogers kind of wrapped up an ankle.
Yeah.
It's one of those where he let go
right
at just the right time.
Yeah.
But it's really a discretion call up to the officials right there. Some officials would have called that a hold. So, but it isn't. Sets up a 3rd and short, and now the Lions are in business. They can get a first down here.
And Nick Cooper calling for it. He reads, he'll keep it himself. Looking up the middle, he'll get the first down plus another 2 yards afterwards. Brought down by number 20, Brett Lechley.
And this is pretty much, like we talked about, this is what we were expecting the Covington offense to look like. Basically, allow these guys to read, figure it out, and then use their skill set to churn out some positive yards. First down Lions, got a nice little drive going.
Yeah, another first down as they continue with this two-back set in the backfield with Driver and Rogers. Snap is back. Give. This time goes to Rogers. Has plenty of room around the outside. Look, he looked to cut it up, and the turf monster got him.
Yeah, but I tell you what, that initial cut, he was looking to kind of run right there just around the edge. Instead, one nice little cut, bounced it out on the other side of the hash. Unfortunately for him, the ground gave way out there, as you mentioned, but the decision-making was excellent.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 7 for the Lions as the play comes in. And, they were running it anyway, so very good decision. Now you basically have 2 backs plus a fullback in tight to help you run it. You're not just having personnel as Cooper squirts through, he'll get a first down. But to continue what I was saying, you're not just having excess personnel out there that you're not really using.
That's right. And, the other thing is, as we mentioned, when you're throwing the football, there's a lot that goes into that. There's timing, there's the experience factor, and you put all that into play, and it's working against the Lions. Coach Salter, he's digging into his bag of tricks, and he's figured it out.
Great run there by Cooper to get the first down, and they'll do it again, keeping it himself. He'll dive forward for another yard, but that'll be about a 3-yard gain. Check that, about 2. And it'll bring up 2nd and 8 for the Lions.
And again, the last time they converted, they fell forward. That 2 yards made a difference. So that good hard running by Cooper right there definitely makes a difference. Coach Salter, like I said, he's settled in with his play calling. He's got it dialed in.
And that'll bring us to the heat and humidity break here in the third quarter, as with 5:56 remaining in the third, Dutchtown leads 16-0. So 2nd and 8 after the heat and humidity break. Calling for it, Cooper keeps it himself, has 3 lead blockers. He'll be swarmed that time, though. Still gets a gain of 2, and we'll have a flag come out late on the play.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was for, but again, in this day and age, you're looking to protect players. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a foul there in terms of personal foul.
Braden Cascade making the tackle.
Yeah.
Face mask called on the Griffins, so that's a first down for the Lions as they continue to march down the field.
And honestly, I thought it was harsh earlier in the game. I think it's harsh now, but I'm a traditionalist. The reality is, in terms of player safety, the guys with the whistles out there, they're doing it right. They are not only, implementing the letter of the law, they're actually following the intent. And while it's not something you and I are used to, it is the correct thing to do in terms of player safety.
So this 2-back set with the fullback continuing to work here. Give to Driver, and Driver will get the first down.
Driver runs hard. He just runs hard. Of course, that's the second time he's got a flat tire. He's run out of his shoe again. That's how hard he's running.
He's going to need to put that double knot on.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, they've had a lot of success here so far in the second half with this offense that they're running. The 2-back set with Rogers and Driver, and then you have the fullback up there with Gage Bork. Bork, another sophomore. Give goes to Rogers, looking outside. Wow, Speedster didn't get him down. Rogers still on his feet and gets in for the score, but a flag is down in the backfield.
Yeah, there might be a hold and might be coming back. I tell you what, it doesn't take away the effort from Cade Rogers. What great promise he shows as a sophomore.
Well, you saw Braden Caskey came out of nowhere, almost got him in the backfield, and he was able to break away from him and had a big seam to head straight to the end zone there. And now we know why he had that big seam.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason the seam was there. However, I can tell you this, it's one of those where on film, when you're looking at it, the question is, first of all, how pronounced was the hold? I know Kate Rogers actually got away with one kind of earlier. So, again, it's one of those judgment calls. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. And that time they didn't. Not to say the call was wrong either time. But, hey, I think without the hold, he actually gets the edge.
So 1st and 20 for the Lions. Calling for it. Give goes to Driver, looking to hit the hole hard. I saw him, he was going to hit it hard, but he got tripped up there by Jordan Spears.
Yeah, I tell you the downside when you're not able to effectively throw the ball, and you get into situations where it's 1st and 20 or 2nd and 17, it really restricts the playbook. And I tell you what else it does. It allows your opponent to crowd the line. I mean, they're obviously looking for something that is not a pass.
So 2nd and 18.
Might be a good
for
time.
The Lions.
Good time to roll Edgerrin Cooper out to his right and let him sling one.
Calling for it. Cooper almost lost the handle on it. Looking to pass now. Lofts it out, and it's in and out of the hands of Washington. On the coverage there was Deldrick Jones along with Logan Scott.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was some big hits right there by the Dutchtown Griffins because other than that, he's pulling that in, and it would have been very close to a first down. Not a bad ball from Edgerrin Cooper, considering he kind of fumbled around with it there for a little while right at the beginning.
So 3rd and 18 for the Lions now. Seemingly some confusion on the field as there must have been a downed player, but he got up quickly. We saw a bunch of people run on the field and then run right off as the ball was spotted. Now a play being called in.
And the clock's running down. It's at 5 seconds and counting down. The play clock going to get to 0.
So, yeah, play clock. And they're not going to throw I believe they're not. They're going to. Wow, really? Okay. So timeout called by Covington. 3:54 on the clock here in the third. Dutchtown leads 16-0. So back in the pistol formation, you have 2 to the right for the Lions on 3rd and 18. Calling for it, looking right side, lofting it up, man on man.
That was a foul, yeah. That's going to be
flag
an automatic
is thrown
first.
on Logan Scott there, all over the intended receiver.
A flag on the field.
So that'll be, well,
That pass intended for
that'll make it 3rd and 3.
Tell you, Reggie Gauze did an excellent job right there. He's trying to high point the ball, cut inside of the DB, go up and get it. DB knew he was beat. So, I mean, again, it's one of those, it's going to happen. And I'm sure the Dutchtown coaches are saying, hey, instead of giving up 6, give up the 15 in the first down. So it's managing a worst-case scenario. But, again, it goes back to quality coaching. Both of these teams very well coached.
Well, still 3rd down, 3rd and 4 after the penalties assessed. Cooper calling for it. Will keep it himself up the middle. Spins to the outside, and he will get into the end zone. Covington is on the board.
Coach Salter, like I said, he's dialed in. He's found something, and it is definitely working.
Put on a couple of moves on the left side.
Extra point coming. See if they'll go for. Yeah, it looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field and go for 2.
Well, that does make sense. I mean, you're 2 scores down with 2 two-point conversions, so it's what you've got to do. This is a got-to-do-it moment if you're the Covington Lions.
And they're going back to that 2-back set. Calling for it is Cooper. He'll run up the middle, diving over, and he's in. 2-point conversion is good So, with 3:41 remaining here in the third quarter, Dutchtown leads 16-8. So after the Cooper score, Hernandez, the kickoff for the Lions, kicked this one down as Matthews will return for the Griffins, looking for a hole, and he'll be brought down after he crosses the 30-yard line by number 32, Noah Kish.
And it's good field position, not great compared to last time. I mean, that 9 or 10 yards does make a difference. That being said, not a bad spot for the Dutchtown Griffins set-up shop. Covington's defense, they've actually done a very good job tonight, kept the team in the game. When for the longest time it didn't look like the offense was actually going to be able to do much against this Dutchtown squad. So let's see if they can make a stand and get Covington's offense with that newfound life back out on the field quickly.
Back in spread, trips left, Dre Monroe in at quarterback. He'll call for it. The give goes to Lewis, and he's met in the backfield and dropped by the Lions. That's number 8, Tristan Hyatt.
I tell you what, definitely was, in the right spot to make the tackle and brought him down, no issues, no concerns. I tell you, I still don't understand why Jordan, Jackson isn't in the game more often at the quarterback position. He's such a dynamic playmaker for Dutchtown.
2nd and 9 for the Griffins. Snap is back, quick pass in and out of the hands of Terry Matthews. He looked like he was about to turn and run, ready to go, but you have to haul it in first.
Indeed, and that was a good pass by Monroe. Monroe's really actually done a pretty good job putting the ball out there. I know a couple of them have bounced here or there, but that one was certainly catchable.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 9 for the Griffins. Let's see if this stout Covington defense can hold them once again.
Yeah, Coach Glenn Salter has to get him wound up, put in the right spot.
And Dre Monroe he goes with that hard count. That's basically just giving them the opportunity and the coaches the opportunity to survey the defense. But, if somebody jumps, they'll take that too.
Indeed.
Snap is back. Monroe, plenty time, launches it out, and the receiver wasn't ready as
was incomplete. And the Lions defense.
The receiver wasn't ready there as he turned out of his break.
Back deep for the Lions. Washington.
We had a little situation up here with a moth flying into our booth. Coach Inman had to take care of that one real quick.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
So, Devin Tier on the punt. After that one fell incomplete, a low snap for the Griffins. Good punt away.
Could be returned, though.
Let's see if Cooper goes for it. He does. He grabs it and has players in his face immediately, dropping him at the 29-yard line. That's Logan Scott.
I tell you what, Scott formed tackle right there, got him low around between the knees and the ankle, held on, nowhere for Edgerrin Cooper to go.
So now let's see if the Covington offense can do what they did last drive.
Yeah, I
and
tell you
march
what,
it downfield and get to the end zone. But this new 2-back set has really been something for him, or really 2 backs and a fullback.
And it's one of those things you go with what you know, and what they knew was a lot of success.
Yeah.
So there was no reason to change the recipe until, of course, you don't have all the ingredients. So when you have a player of quality like Bayham go down, who you've been grooming for that spot, you go to plan B, C, or D, and whichever one works. Sometimes it's through experimentation and trial and error. Coach Salter seems to have found something that works.
Edgerrin Cooper in at quarterback, high snap. The give goes to Rogers, has a hole, hits it hard, still rolling, crossing the 50, 40, 30, 20, and he'll be brought down by the shoestrings by Deldrick Jones, but not before getting down to the 20-yard line.
He ran so fast, he ran into a cramp. Great job blocking, giving Rogers a hole to roll through. And I tell you, when you've got three people to keep an eye on,
Kid Rogers,
it's tough for the defense to diagnose.
And we'll step away for the injury timeout.
the ball carrier.
1st and 10 coming out of the injury timeout. Sharp gives to Cooper, and Cooper swarmed, but he'll still gain about a yard on the carry.
Sharp gain on that play.
And you got Sharp coming in. He definitely is the more experienced in terms of pure passer. So again, that opens up the playbook from that vein, where you can actually put some wide receivers out. You got some really good ones. You got, like I said, Justin Lee. You got Reggie Gauze. If you can get the ball to them, they can go get it.
Yeah, Justin Lee, a big 6'5" wide receiver, it would be a jump ball play if you want to give it to him.
And intelligent young men. I mean, look, they not only know the game, they're just intelligent, period.
Whoa, look busted. Sharp keeps it himself, and he's upended. We have flags down. It looked like the play was supposed to go the opposite way. The handoff didn't go, and he kept it himself to the left.
There was a nice tackle right there at the edge of the line to spring the quarterback. So two good tackles on that play, but only one of them were legal.
And that'll push the Lions back to about the 30-yard line.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
Make
have
it
half-price
2nd and long.
hot dogs
And the
and
good news
hamburgers
is it
at
looks like Cade Rogers is back on the field, so
Yes.
they can get back to that three-headed monster of a backfield. The downside is it's 2nd and long.
Yeah, 2nd and 19 for the Lions. Motion from Bork. Snap is back. Cooper. Draw going up the middle. And look at that. Just that second effort from him. Diving forward to get another 2 to 3 yards.
All night. And, we talked about the kids from Dutchtown, and it's the same thing with the kids at Covington High School. There's an intrinsic motivation. They want to do well. They're all hard-working kids. But I can promise you, it doesn't matter which staff, whether it's Covington or Dutchtown, if there's some film study going on and the effort's not there, these two staffs are going to let these kids know. So between the fact that they're hardworking kids to start with and the coaches demand excellence, that's what you get at the end of a run.
3rd and 11 for the Lions. Clock running down here in the 3rd. Cooper, the give, goes to Rogers, right side. Dodges a defender, hit by another one, and dropped out of bounds. And that was a big hit from the McNeese commit, Jackson.
Yeah, I tell you what, he did a great job, Cade Rogers did, of actually making a move, making one defender miss and getting to the edge. There's only one small problem. You've got a next-level guy waiting for you there.
So 4th and 6 for the Lions in this position here. They're going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a couple of kids who have the leg, but they don't have the experience. So this totally makes sense at this point.
Low snap. Cooper drops it, but able to pick it back up. Looking to make a play, running forward. And he spins off another defender and makes it into the end zone. What an athletic play by Edgerrin Cooper
I can
to get into the end zone.
I can promise you in film study, there's no critique there other than, holy cow, that was awesome.
Running forward, makes one miss, spins off a couple more.
Man, that's just fantastic.
Fights his way into the end zone for the touchdown, and the Lions are a 2-point conversion away from tying this one up.
Yes, they are. Now, of course, this is a big play here for Dutchtown's defense. Big play for the offense of Covington. Let's see what happens.
Sticking with what they've had success with. Cooper takes the direct snap, diving
He's
forward,
in.
and he's in. And we have a tie ball game here with 4 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Tied up at 16 apiece. Dutchtown and Covington. So Hernandez to kick this one away. 4 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Hernandez pops this one up. It'll be returned by Matthews. Matthews looking to get to the middle following a block, and no, he'll be wrestled down by number 30, Blake Glass, as he gets to about the 30-yard line, and that will end the 3rd quarter. Tie score, 16 apiece. 1st and 10 kicking off the 4th quarter. Dre Monroe in the gun. Lewis to his left. Let's see if the Dutchtown Griffins can reclaim the lead on this drive.
Yeah, and they've got the ability to do it for sure.
The give goes to Lewis. A hard runner hits that hole hard, and Mendheim along with Washington will bring him down, but that's a first down for Lewis.
Yeah, I tell you, Chandler Washington has had an excellent evening, whether he's returning punts, returning kicks, whatever the case may be, and of course the safety valve, Mendheim, because I tell you what, that could have been 6 if those two guys aren't cleaning up that situation. Great blocking by Dutchtown's offensive line, allowing that hole and that play to develop.
So another 1st and 10 for the Griffins, calling for it. Monroe nearly lost the handle on it, but he'll take it himself. That's a good block thrown by his receiver out there, Terry Matthews, and Monroe will gain 6 on the scamper.
6 out of nothing, and it was an excellent block, and that was Mendheim. If Mendheim actually gets in there, he's that guy that's been shown to blow up plays and not allow them to develop. If he gets in there, that's no gain. Instead, great block right there. Monroe's able to get outside 6 yards later, setting up shop on a 2nd and 5.
2nd and
5 yards later.
5 yards. Monroe, and let's see. It looks like they're going to call the false start on the Griffins. The center, yeah. Look, I'm a former center. I've done this before. That's called on the center. What he did was, as he had his hand on the ball, it was on 2. Monroe called for it, and he did a little flinch like that with his hand. Just a kind of a snap thing that happens.
Looking almost as good as a hard count.
Yeah, so that makes it 2nd and 10. And the give goes to Lewis, always running hard, makes the first guy miss. He'll have the first down as he's brought down by Tristan Hyatt along with Washington.
It's one of those things where when you have a running back that hits the hole that quickly and is at full speed, again, he's got the momentum. You're just hanging on for a ride at that point.
So another first down for the Griffins as they continue this drive. Monroe awaiting the play from the sideline. They're going 2 to the left with a flanker in number 88. That's McKinney. Monroe calls for it. Give goes to Lewis again. Has a big hole to get through, and he will be about a yard shy of the first down, brought down by Washington.
And I tell you what, it looks as though Dutchtown, their coaching staff, again, they found something that's working, and they're rolling with it as well.
About 2 yards shy of the first down. Bring up 2nd and 2 for the Griffins. Now Alan Alley in at running back for the Griffins. He's a senior running back.
Big play right here for the Covington defense if they can force a 3rd.
Handoff goes to Alley. He's met in the backfield and dropped by Trent Rainey, and that's exactly what you were looking for there, a big play from the Covington defense.
And it's one of those where if you go from 3rd and 2 to now it's 3rd and 5, the playbook's not as wide open as it once was, so that actually benefits the Covington coaching staff. So a little bit of advantage right there, but it's a big 3rd down, regardless of whether it's 2 yards or 5 yards. This is a big play.
3rd and 4 for the Griffins as Monroe awaits the play from the sideline. 9:07 to go here in the 4th. Monroe calling for it, drops the snap, and it's recovered by the Lions. Blake Glass, what a heads-up play as that ball hit the turf. He was there to dive on it and make the big recovery.
Huge play by Blake Glass. Great kid, works hard. He's just got a nose for the ball. He was actually the young man on the tackle on the special teams as well. So he's just got a nose for the ball, and hey, what a great time to find it right there. Big play for the Lions.
Glass, the 5'9", 160-pound junior, and now we'll get another look at the Covington Lions offense, which has been in this second half outstanding.
It's a totally different team. I mean, you got to realize Covington went 5 quarters without scoring. Now, granted, a lot of that was on a really sloppy field against a really good Holy Cross squad. But they seem to have found a rhythm here, and I think Coach Alton's going to ride that in.
Yep, sticking with it. 1st and 10. Cooper calls for it, keeps it himself, following his lead, blocks, has a hole, and he'll dive forward for another. So that will bring up 2nd and 4 for the Lions.
And if it wasn't for a shoestring, he's going a lot further than that. Again, though, he doesn't stop. He's got that intrinsic motivation. It's within. He works. He has a great work ethic, a great motor, good kid, great athlete, great kid actually, great athlete. Man, I tell you what, this is working.
We talk about having to replace 11 starters on offense, but hey, this is a good scheme.
It is indeed.
Cooper keeps it himself again, fighting forward still. That will be a 3rd down, but it'll be a 3rd and 3 for the Lions.
Yes, it's a short 3 though, so
yeah.
it is definitely manageable. And again, you've got, Driver. We know what he can do. We knew that he was going to be the guy that everyone was going to focus on coming in. We know of his abilities. Cade Rogers was an unknown. I mean, I'm sure that he wasn't a total unknown because he was a bell cow for the youngsters last year. Then you put Edgar Cooper at quarterback / running back, and man.
And we have a flag down. They're going to say encroachment.
Yeah,
so that'll be
a first down.
Easy first down for the Lions. Wow.
That is a big play.
So that will be another first down for the Lions as they continue to march into. I get it. Look, you don't have Alfaro or Brumfield or these guys.
Or
those guys. But or Bell or any of them. But
Baptiste.
this offense here in the second half
beautiful.
has been great. And fake give to Driver, the defensive, the blitzing linebacker over pursued, but Cooper still dropped for a loss of 1.
Great job right there by the Dutchtown staff, dialing up that inside blitz from that linebacker, and it did blow up the play right there. It didn't allow it to develop. If Driver gets the ball right there, he's going around the end. So that's one of those things we talk about experience. With a little bit more experience, Cooper probably lets that ball go. But when you have a linebacker right in your face, you don't have a lot of time to make that decision.
So 2nd and 11. The give goes to Driver, looking to bounce outside. He's brought down, and the ball comes loose. And the Griffins saying they have it. The officials say the Griffins have it as well. So a big turnover for the Griffins now. And Covington. Defense coming back on the field looking to hold or cause another turnover like they did last time. Griffins know how to move the ball. So
hey, look,
we'll see what happens here. This is exciting. Coming down 6:33 to go in the 4th.
These are, like I said, 2 teams that are mirror images of one another. If you look at the basic setup, both got salty defenses. Man, they're tough, creating turnovers. Both of them. It's easy to see. You can see where they're strong and where they have limitations on the offensive side of the ball. You can see the coaching staffs adjusting to this. That's why it's 16-16.
Monroe calling for it. Give goes to Lewis. He's dropped another flag. Comes down. Lewis a gain of 1. Awaiting the call here from the officials. They're pointing to the Covington side.
I was going to say, is this a hold or it's a weird
face mask. That's the 3rd face mask call we've had tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that one, but there was a whole lot going on the interior right there, and it doesn't take much.
And let's see if it's – we had a call last 15. Week. Yeah, that's a 15-yarder. Remember last week we thought we had it was a 15-yarder. It ended up being 5. But, yeah, that's a 15-yarder. So an easy first down for the Griffins. But last year, the final was 40-34. It was a thriller, high scoring. This one, as you said, very reliant on the defenses.
Well, and Coach Salter kind of implied that as well, that both sides lost a lot of quality players. But good teams reload.
There's Allen.
There you go.
Allen Alley on the carry there gives the Griffins another first down.
Good hard run. I mean, he hits the hole and he's off to the races, if not for a last-second tackle right there.
You have 2 running backs who can hit the hole really hard in Alley and Lewis.
And that's not even including the guy who was the most electric guy on the field on either side of the ball.
Mr. Jackson.
My word.
And we'll have the heat and humidity timeout here in the fourth quarter. 5:58 to go, tied up at 16 apiece. First and 10 coming out of the heat and humidity break. Monroe calling for it. The give this time goes to Lewis. Lewis will grind forward for a gain of about 3.
Tell you what, that was a much-needed break right there for the Covington defense. It truly is a heat and humidity break. I realize it's September in Louisiana and it can be warm, but it seems a little extra soupy today.
Yeah, hot and humid night. I'm wearing, you saw I was wearing this Nike short sleeve polo in the stand-up earlier. I planned on wearing a long sleeve shirt, but it got all messed up just standing outside from the heat and humidity. Low snap handled by Monroe, give to Lewis, and he'll fight forward for a gain of about 4.
I tell you what, he actually put on an extra couple of yards right there with a nice spin there at the end. And again, instead of it being 3rd and 5, it's 3rd and a long 3.
So what do you think? What do you think we see here from the Griffins?
I tell you what, they've been running the ball right up the middle with 23. I would imagine that they've been setting up 11 to keep the ball and try to find the edge.
Shifting Lewis to the left. Now motion cross. Calls for it. Give to Lewis. Lewis, plenty of room. Wide open hole. Mendheim brings him down. But Lewis gets the first down plus about another 5.
Hey, why have 11 tote the ball when you've got that guy?
And when Mendheim brought him down, he hit Lewis hit Youngblood, and we'll step away for the injury timeout.
Thanks to those sponsors.
So 1st and 10 after the big Lewis run.
Dutchtown doing a good job setting his drive up.
Motion across from Matthews. The give going to Lewis, and he'll be hit immediately, maybe a gain of 1 on the carry.
Good job right there by the Lion defense. Minding their lanes, making sure there was nowhere to go.
Check that run by Allen Alley, the fresh jersey in, as it's been a heavy load for Bladen Lewis.
I tell you what, though, Dutchtown definitely has some guys who are quite athletic at the running back position.
So 2nd and 9 for the Griffins. Monroe surveys the field. Calls for it. Handoff goes to Alley again, and he's brought down by a leg there by Glass. So that'll be, and we have a timeout called by the Lions. So when we come back, it'll be 3rd and a long 6 for the Griffins, but it's 3:32 remaining here in the 4th with the score tied up at 16. So 3rd and 6 for the Griffins, looking to complete this drive in the end zone. Motion across from Martin. And after the motion, they see how Covington adjusts, so they're awaiting the new play. Monroe. Hard calling for it. Give. This time goes to Lewis, bouncing it outside, has some green, and a physical runner there lays a lick before being pushed out of bounds. Lewis lays that lick on Chandler Washington.
Yeah, it's
so that'll be,
it's going to be a 4th down.
Yeah, 4th and, well, it's about 4th and 3.
The question is do they come in, take the 3 points, put their defense back on the field?
It's looking like the field goal unit coming on. So we'll see Hayden Sosa attempt a 20-yarder.
Tell you what, Sosa was
about
good.
A 22-yarder.
He was good from a long way out at the end of the half. So this is a little bit more than an extra point.
Check that 21-yarder. Clement snap, rolls back, fire call. Looking to pass, dumps it off, and he's in. Well, it's at least a first down. No, a touchdown for the Griffins.
Man, that's unfortunate break for Covington and a great job by the holder right there, picking the ball up.
Oh, there's a flag down.
Illegal man downfield.
And that's going to be on the Griffins.
It is. It is. Now the downside is you obviously take the points off the board, but that means they get another bite at the field goal, if I'm not mistaken.
So, let's see how they assess it here. That is a big break for the Lions.
Yeah,
it
very
gives them a
much
chance
so.
to retool. So, once again, still 4th down, and that brings them back to about the 10. So this should be about a 26-yarder.
26-yarder, so
Yeah.
a little bit further.
A little bit further back, and let's see if Clement can get that snap up. So Sosa can attempt it. Clement snap. Kick is up, and it is good. So with 3:14 remaining here in the 4th, Dutchtown leads 19-16. So Sosa to kick this one away after just making that field goal, score being 19-16 for Dutchtown. This
could be returned.
Returned by Washington. Wow, he was millimeters away from the goal line there, and Washington looking to cut this up, makes one guy miss, and he'll be dropped inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, that's one of those, if the ball, checks up, and it may have with this wet, soft field, you get a live ball on your hands, so the best thing to do, I guess, if he thought that was going to be the case, is to pull it, tug it, and see what you can get out of it. Of course, as soon as it breaks the plane, you're at, a good bit better in terms of field position, so that's a split-second decision now.
So Covington has 3 minutes and 5 seconds to attempt to march down this field and score to take the lead over the Griffins.
Yes, I tell you what, with the way that their offense has been running, it's been a pretty fine-tuned machine in this second half. That is definitely a possibility.
Sticking with the set that's given them a lot of success. The give goes to Rogers, who has room to run. Can he get past Jackson? Yes, but he's tripped up.
Yeah, Jackson definitely forced him inside. And, hey, look, like we've talked about, he's next level. What a great job from a sophomore to actually be able to make the cut on a really, really, soft field.
So 2nd and 2 for the Lions after the Rogers run. Snap is back. Cooper, give. Oh, golly. Driver's hitting the ball's loose. Dutchtown has recovered. Heads up play there by Braden Caskey with the recovery. But
yeah, I mean, when you're hitting the backfield right when you're receiving the ball, that's one of those things. And, hey, good job by Dutchtown's defense right there. You got to tip your hat and say, well done.
So Dutchtown now, I'm sure we'll continue to see a lot more of Mr. Lewis and Mr. Alley.
I would imagine that the ball will not be in the air at all the remainder of this game if Dutchtown can actually, find a first down here.
Yeah, heads up play there by Caskey to recover that fumble. And just the ball came loose as Driver was drilled in the backfield. And
it stayed on the ground for the longest time. It was just so unfortunate that Cooper couldn't see it.
Yeah, Cooper just thought Driver was mauled and the play was going to be over. And here goes Alley. Alley dropped by Corey Donovan after a short gain. And Covington will take a timeout with 2:23 to go here in the 4th, and Dutchtown leading 19-16. Under center is Dre Monroe, 2-back set with fresh jerseys. Titus Riggins, another senior running back, in there at fullback. And the give will go to Alley, and he's met in the backfield and dropped for a loss of a yard on the play.
So now the clock is the enemy, so to speak, if you're the Covington Lions.
Yeah, Covington 0 timeouts left. Dutchtown has all of them.
Yeah, so and they don't care to use them, I can promise you.
No. 2:03 and running. But third down, this is once again a huge third down.
Why is the play clock didn't start for the longest time.
Now play being signaled in. The clock's their friend, so Dutchtown, of course, taking their time.
As they should.
Monroe, Monroe back in the gun. Trips left. Monroe calls for it, and the delay handoff goes to Lewis. Lewis will gain about 4 on the carry, but still well shy of the first down.
Now the question becomes, does Dutchtown want to, try a run here? And the very least, it eats up a good bit of time, or are they going to put their field goal unit out? The downside to putting the field goal unit out is, hey,
Ladies and gentlemen, as a public service,
again, the clock is.
Yeah, so they're going to take the 20 seconds here to run it off.
And I'm not sure who's operating the actual play clock. Covington's probably lost about 15 to 20 seconds with the play clock being really slow to be restarted. That's a lot of time when you're talking about 1 minute on the clock.
So now you're down to 40 seconds.
They take the delay?
No, they take the timeout.
Timeout.
So Dutchtown calls a timeout. 40 seconds remaining here in the fourth, and Dutchtown leads 19-16. So fourth down, offensive unit on the field for Dutchtown. Monroe in the gun, 40 seconds on the clock. Monroe motion from Terry.
There's room for a first down.
On the jet sweep, and we have a flag down, though, for the Griffins.
Could be holding, maybe, or...
The ball carrier. First out of bounds.
But he definitely got there. Let's see what the call is.
If he got there, then it's definitely going to be holding, and...
holding called on the Griffins.
And if he got there, they'll be taking that.
Absolutely. But that still ran 6 seconds off the clock, so...
Hey. You know.
with a running attack from the Lions, certainly running any time off.
Every second counts.
Exactly.
So the best bet for Covington would have been Dutchtown and elected to kick a field goal and put your electric guys, Edrin Cooper and Mr. Washington, back there to return a kick. But that goes back to Dutchtown staff. We're looking at two well-coached teams that know what they're doing.
So that makes it 4th and 12 for the Griffins. Monroe taking a chance to look at the defense before the play comes in. 34 seconds to go in the game. Motion from Matthews. And a timeout is called by Monroe. So we'll take a quick timeout break. 33 seconds to go in the fourth. Dutchtown leads 19-16. So 34 seconds on the clock. 4th down and 12 here for the Dutchtown offense. Motion from Matthews. Monroe calls for it. Looking downfield to pass. Pressure coming from the Lions. Launches it. Hits the ground. Incomplete. That's a turnover on downs, and the Lions will take over at about the 17-yard line with 27 seconds to try and get downfield. They've been having this running attack, so let's see what they open up with, see what kind of passes they can do.
You got to do me personally, I think they go out, they run exactly what they've been running, try to hit the home run. If it doesn't work, you get to the line quickly, snap the ball, spike it. Now you third down, it's a running down again. I think we need to, and when I say we, the Covington Lions, and I'm sorry about that coming out, but hey, need to actually go with what's working.
Shades of Todd Graffanini from Coach Jimmy Inman.
Yeah.
1st and 10. Cooper calls for it. Looking to pass. He's hit almost as he throws. His pressure was bearing down, and that one falls well incomplete. 22 seconds on the clock. 2nd and 10.
Edrin Cooper's pass is incomplete.
So as a new play signaled in from the sideline.
Yeah, it's going to take something special at this point.
I mean, look at.
So
well, you can't. It's not on your
really
screen,
deep.
but all the defensive backs are very deep. Calling for it is Cooper, looking downfield, launches it long. Good ball thrown, and guess who? Picked off by Mr. Jackson once again.
Yeah, he's next level, and that's 3 tonight. He hits the trifecta and seals the game for Dutchtown.
Yeah, 14 seconds on the clock. That'll seal it.
And you know what? Hey, last year Covington went to Dutchtown and pulled out a hard-fought victory. This year Dutchtown comes to Covington and returns a favor. And this is what you're going to have when you have two programs that are well coached, evenly matched. You're going to have close games, and hey, sometimes some games are character builders. And I'm sure between last week's overtime win and this tough win tonight, Dutchtown's coaches are going to be quite happy. On the flip side, even though Covington lost tonight,
they have something going with this offense.
I mentioned that Coach Salter and the Lions needed to answer some question marks concerning their offense. Hey, I think they found their answer.
So we'll see a kneel down from Monroe here. Covington's going to fall to 1-2. Dutchtown 2-1. Next week, Dutchtown is going to play Cy Academy. Covington is going to play a very good Ponchatoula. Their quarterback is an LSU commit.
He's elite. No doubt about that one.
So this one is over as the buzzer sounds. Dutchtown wins 19-16. Hard-fought effort by both teams here tonight. Let's take the time to send a thank you to those who helped bring you this game, starting with our superintendent, Mr. Trey Foltz, our director of broadcasting, Dr. Melody Menard, sideline cameraman, Rhett Sharp, sports intern this year, Roman Polito, color analyst, Coach Jimmy Inman, cameraman, editor, coordinator of Channel 13, Dave the Rave Williams. So from Jack Salter Stadium, where the Dutchtown Griffins defeat the Covington Lions 19-16. My name is Grant Yenny. Good night. You are now leaving the Prep Zone.